My name is Kristinhayward. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister responsible for the Wildfire Service with Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures. I'll start by giving an update on the overall situation as well as some specific developments from the recent 24 hours. So as of yesterday, I don't have today's numbers, but as of yesterday, there were 120 active fires burning in the province. The total number of fires as of yesterday was 333, and the 20-year average on that date is 252. I'll begin by providing an update on our primary areas of concern. So as reported in the media this morning, Fire North 113 did enter the community of Leaf Rapids yesterday evening. Despite attempts at controlling the fire with aerial resources, including heavy helicopters and water bombers, the fire jumped the Churchill River and has resulted in some damage to structures in Leaf Rapids. Initial assessments suggest 5 to 7 structures have been impacted by the fire. So crews from the Office of the Fire Commissioner and Manitoba Fire Service, together with Manitoba Wildfire Service, have been in community for a couple of weeks since it was evacuated. They remain in community now. There was a point yesterday evening that due to the very intense fire behavior and activity that they had to retreat to a safe location a short distance away. However, they were able to return into the community within about an hour and worked through the night to patrol for hot spots, address spot fires, and they continue to do that today. They will remain on scene in the community, for as long as needed. Given the wind direction today, we do expect another challenging day potentially in Leaf Rapids, but we do see some precipitation in the forecast beginning tomorrow. So hopefully that materializes, as that should really help to stabilize that situation. As I said, crews have been in the community now for a couple of weeks, so they've been busy doing constructing fire guards. I think I've talked about that here previously, doing some vegetation management or fuel management. They've set up value protection on critical infrastructure. And so they were definitely planning for something to happen in the community. They had a good plan, but unfortunately the fire's behavior yesterday was very, very intense. Crews talked about how the fire was essentially creating its own weather, and there was all this additional wind and heat, and the movement of the fire was just really, really rapid. So I think that's one of the factors that led to folks feeling a bit unsafe remaining in community and retreating for a short period of time. We did have another active area in the province last night, and that was West 52, near Snow Lake. So we saw some strong northwest winds in that area, and the fire has moved a little bit closer towards the community, but firefighters remain in the community from Office of the Fire Commissioner, local fire departments, as well as Manitoba Wildfire Service. They have value protection set up. It's all been tested and ready to go. So, the community is ready to be defended should that fire make its way further towards town. Some of the other fires that we've been actioning are looking better, including the fire at Garden Hill as well as the Mystery Lake fire near Thompson. So work to contain those fires continues. Just given some of the recent weather that we've had, they've been able to make some really good progress, and all of our containment lines are holding at this time. And finally, Fire 10 at Split Lake to Tasqueat Cree Nation was scanned on July 22nd and did reveal some hot spots, but we've been working to seek those out and put them out and address them, and the situation in the community now is looking quite good, and we feel it's safe enough for the community to start planning a return. I'll just finish by talking a bit about our out-of-province resources. We currently have 277 personnel assisting us from other jurisdictions, including 242 firefighters and 35 incident management team and overhead personnel. I'll just run through the list for review. Some of it's been here for a while, but we have 200 firefighters and 5 agency reps from Mexico, 42 firefighters and an agency rep from New Zealand, a 7-person incident management team from New Zealand, 2 7-person incident management teams from Australia, 1 personnel from New Brunswick, and 1 from Prince Edward Island. Those are overhead personnel, and 6 overhead personnel from Minnesota through our Great Lakes Forest Fire Compact. We are also expecting 60 firefighters to arrive in province today from Quebec. And I'll pass it over to my colleague Blair McTavish to take you through the rest of the update.
Thanks, Kristin. Good afternoon. My name is Blair McTavish. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister with Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure. As of today, there are 20 states of local emergency currently in place. We have had 0 evacuations in the last 24 hours. And with respect to the evacuees, we currently have 252,532 hotel rooms available for the evacuees, and there's a total of 28,227 individuals registered from 11,073 households with the Canadian Red Cross. In addition, we currently have 5 provincially run congregate shelters that are operational for additional beds. As Kristin mentioned, the Tatasquik Cree Nation working on plans to repatriate community members back into that community, and hopefully that will be initiated this weekend with some initial people returning at that point. I think the only other thing I would add is that with respect to the town of Leaf Rapids, in addition to the houses that were damaged, there was some additional vehicles as well, and there is some concerns with the hydro line. It's functioning right now, but a number of poles had been burnt. So I think that's everything for me.
Just about the damage in Leaf Rapids, can you confirm that one residential dwelling has been damaged, correct?
One resident that was occupied.
And then 5 to 7 vacant buildings?
Yes.
And what does the hydro situation look like? I know you said some of the poles have been burned. Are crews working on that right now? Is that sort of a top priority?
Yeah, that's a priority. They're just assessing it right now, but as we indicated, that the power is still on and functioning. Yeah.
Sorry, just to confirm, the structures that were impacted, were they all homes, but some people weren't living in the homes, or were they different types of buildings?
So there was a number of homes that have been abandoned, so vacant. So when we say vacant, that we mean that there's nobody living in them at this point.
Can you maybe just walk us through last night, like how rapidly did this situation develop?
Yeah, so later in the afternoon yesterday, the crews started to notice, or the staff on the ground started to notice, that the fire behavior was really picking up, and they were seeing wind gusts much higher than they had been seeing earlier in the day or that were forecasted for that day. So we had aircraft in the air over the fire bucketing throughout the day, and they made the decision to call water bombers to try to assist with cooling the fire down a bit. But it escalated so quickly within an hour or two, there was just nothing that really could be done to reduce that fire activity. The smoke was very, very thick as well over the fire, and so any aircraft would have been pretty ineffective because they can't see what's below them and what they're dropping on. So at that point, they decided that they would return back to base. And around that same time, that's when crews in community started to experience ash and embers falling in community. And just because of the thick smoke and the intensity of that fire, they decided that they better retreat back for a little bit and see what was going to happen. So it really all happened quite quickly within the period of a couple of hours last evening.
And do you know how many personnel had to temporarily retreat from
No, I don't have specific numbers on the personnel. There was also essential services in the community as well as the firefighters that were there, so I don't have confirmation of how many left and exactly what essential workers have returned at this point.
I was going to ask you about the essential workers. I guess where did they go during that period, and how were they removed from the community? Were they able to drive out, or did they have to find their way out by other means?
Mm-hmm. So the firefighters have vehicles that they were able to get out. They used engines as well as their, the work trucks to get out. Fire had also crossed 391 south of Leaf Rapids, but at the time this was all happening, they were able to still get to a spot that was safe and not impacted by that. I don't have details on where some of the essential workers managed to get to, whether they retreated to that safe zone or whether they went to Thompson or to Lynn Lake. I'm not sure if Blair has.
No, I'm not clear at this point either.
There was a little bit of confusion, I think, last night just regarding the situation and what exactly was happening. And there was a suggestion that crews had essentially left the town. There was no indication that they were just sort of retreating a little bit and then waiting nearby. Do you know how that kind of came to be, that confusion, or how that information got out there?
You know, it's hard to say. It was obviously a chaotic situation. I understand it was quite frantic at the time that people were leaving the community. So, you know, we have a number of personnel who are there on the ground from different communities in Manitoba, and you know, by the time information reaches, every time it goes past another person, it, you know, might change a little bit. So what might have started out as a message that we're retreating to safety, or we're leaving temporarily, or it's unsafe to be here, could quickly and very innocently have turned into they've left and abandoned the community. So I think it was probably just a factor of the speed at which everything was happening and kind of the mass chaos that was probably happening on the ground.
And just to add to that too, we're going to be working with the town administration to make sure that they have accurate and timely information as well.
I know that's one of the things that, sorry, go ahead.
Just to build on that, because Leaf Rapids is a different situation than some of the other communities, as they don't necessarily have, you know, a mayor and council, and lots of people are looking for answers. So how, I guess, can the province ensure that community members are getting timely and correct information?
As we said, that we're going to work with through the town administration. So there is people in place that they have a town administrator that we can go through, as well as we'll be looking at setting up some town halls so that so they can get some timely information as well.
I'm sort of wondering, given that a lot of this confusion came from some Facebook posts, do we know who's running the community Facebook page at this time?
I believe it's the town administration.
And the town administration is provincially appointed, and we're getting different things from the province and them. Can you sort of explain that discrepancy?
I can't explain the discrepancy. As I said, we're going to work together with the town to make sure that the information is timely and accurate.
I know you didn't have numbers, but I just want to make sure. So, we know how many people are still in the community at this time?
Yeah. So in the recent days, even the RCMP have been working with everybody who's still in the community and the essential workers, the firefighters, everyone, just to make sure that everyone is, you know, accounted for. They know exactly where people are and everything. So when things needed to happen very quickly yesterday, they were well prepared to make sure that everyone was able to get out safely and was accounted for and not left behind.
And I know you had said earlier you didn't know how many firefighters had to temporarily retreat. How many firefighters total are working in Leaf Rapids right now?
You know, I don't have that number in front of me because it has been changing. We recently, for example, we've had firefighters in Lynn Lake addressing those fires that are there, and its activity was a lot lower in recent days. So, for example, we've moved firefighters from Lynn Lake to Leaf Rapids, and then, you know, kind of back and forth as the situation has evolved. So we'd have to get back to you with specific numbers as of today.
And I guess probably similar answer for how many aerial suppression sort of planes are being used right now. We can't get precise numbers? Or? For
sure, yeah. There's multiple helicopters that are stationed there. I don't have the specific number on exactly how many are there today, of course, but yeah, there's definitely dedicated helicopters to the incident, as well as water bomber support available as needed.
And do we know if any of the out-of-province firefighters are in Leaf Rapids?
I know that Mexico had been there in recent days. I'm not sure if they are returning to the incident today or if they were there yesterday, but I know they had been deployed in recent days to the incident.
And are there any federal resources, maybe military resources, being currently used in Leaf Rapids? Any plans to bring them in?
No, not in terms of the fire suppression or fire response. No federal resources there or planned.
What is the situation looking like right now this morning? Do you have any details on that?
I don't have like recent updates. What I have from this morning was that there was still hot spots and spot fires in the community, and so they were still doing patrols and trying to get on top of those, but that's the most recent information that I have.
I know just in speaking to some of the residents, they weren't able to bring their pets with them, dogs and other animals. Do you have any details about what's happening in that respect to kind of care for those animals while they're still there?
Well, the local firefighters always have the privilege of meeting a lot of new friends when they go to these communities. And I know that they have been feeding and looking after pets that are in the community. So, I hope that everyone can be rest assured that their pets are still being well cared for and looked after.
Go ahead.
Oh, wait.
Regarding the number of Manitobans who are currently displaced, I know you gave a figure. That would be a total for the entire duration of the season so far, would it? And I was hoping to try to find out how many people are displaced as of today or yesterday, whenever your most recent update.
So the numbers were that 28,227 individuals are registered with the Red Cross as of today. So they're registered with them. So that would be the number, roughly.
Of people who are currently out?
Yes.
Or so it was 13,000 as of Monday, I believe, was the figure that I given.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get the number for you then.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll clarify that.
And then, sorry, you had also said that there was 5 congregate shelters. Is that, has a new one been opened? I think there was only 4 on Monday. I'll check.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I guess I should correct myself. They're available. If there's 5 available, there's 4 operational. So yeah.
And then there was a post going around on social media that the mine at Snow Lake had to be evacuated. Any details on that?
Yeah, so that was that Fire 52 yesterday. So that would be the Laylor mine operated by Hud Bay. The fire did make a direct hit on that mine, but the mine had been value protected, so it had sprinklers running, as well as the Paw Fire Department and other local fire service members who were already in community with Office of the Fire Commissioner and ourselves from Manitoba Wildfire were able to quickly respond. And to date, to this hour, as far as I know, there was not significant damage to the mine site. The sprinkler setup worked, and with the engine support from firefighters, they were able to keep damage to a minimal level. So,
Do you have numbers on how many people would have had to leave?
I don't know. I don't have that number, unfortunately. I know that there had been, both at that mine and Chisel Lake mine, some evacuation had already taken place. So I believe they were operating with a fairly minimal kind of skeleton crew level of people.
And you touched on it, but just the Thompson area, what's the situation looking like there today, and then any kind of projection, I guess, for the next 48 hours, let's say?
Yeah. So Fire 61 in the Mystery Lake area north of Thompson is looking really good. We have good containment on southwest, and now starting to put in on the east side of that fire as well. So basically all of the areas that are in the direction of the city of Thompson. All the containment that we had in place has been tested as well in recent days and has held. So we're still just busy patrolling those lines, making sure that any hotspots or anything are taken care of right away. The fire was a bit active on the north end of the fire, but that's quite a distance from Thompson, and we're really not concerned about the potential for that to come and wrap around to the city. So the city's looking quite secure at this time, if I can be honest there. There's also rain expected across the north tomorrow, so we're expecting scattered showers, which will hopefully help the situation in Leaf Rapids, and as well as just continue to dampen activity in places like Thompson. I'll also just flag that there are 2 other fires kind of in the proximity of Thompson, which would be North 50 and North 62. They're closer to NCN or Nelson House. And so we've been flying those fires and assessing those. They don't pose a risk to NCN at this time, but they definitely are putting up smoke that is impacting residents in Thompson as well as in Nelson House.
Aside from Leaf Rapids, are there any fires that are concerning right now?
So I would say Snow Lake still, that fire that impacted the mine yesterday, Leaf Rapids, and then there's also a fire that's quite active in the Laurie River Generating Station area. But again, value protection equipment is on site there, and we've been watching that one. There's 2 there actually for quite some time, but we do expect it to be fairly active today.
I guess I just have one last question. We have been told earlier this week by provincial spokespeople to use the Leaf Rapids Facebook as sort of a good source of information. That caused some discrepancies last night. Now you're working to resolve those. Where should residents and media go to get their information about this fire in Leaf Rapids?
Right now, I mean, we're going to work with the town administration, so they'll still continue to post, but we're hoping it's accurate and information going forward.
Any other questions? Thanks, guys.